வணக்கம். நம்ம இப்போது டெல்லியில் இருக்கோம். நியூ டெல்லி த கேபிட்டல் ஆஃப் இந்தியா, அங்கே தான் இருக்கோங்க. நம்ம இப்போ பார்க்க போகிறது அருஷி முத்கல் மேம். விருந்திராணி அவார்ட்ஸ்க்காக வந்திருக்கோம். இந்த அவார்ட்ஸ்க்காக ஃபஸ்ட்டு பார்க்க போகிறது இவங்கள தான். வாங்க போய் பார்க்கலாம்.
Namaskar. My name is Arushi Mudgal. I'm an Odissi dancer. I'm based out of Delhi.
Bala 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 jaya, bala 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 jaya, bala 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 jaya.
I started learning Odissi at a very, very young age. I learned from my aunt, Guru Smt Madhavi Mudgal. I come from a family of artists. My grandparents, Pandit Vrindrani Mudgal ji and Srimati Padma Devi ji, they started the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya in New Delhi in 1939. And since then, Gandharva has been imparting training in classical music and dance for all these many years, over 80 years. And so I was born into an environment which was already musical, which was already immersed in music and dance. So for me to start learning dance was a very, very natural process. I used to come back from school and straight go into the class where Madhavi ji would be practicing, my aunt. And so it was a very natural, organic process, the way I started learning dance. Dance was something that used to always interest me. So there was music and dance both in the family. My parents, they're musicians. My father, Shri Madhavi Mudgal, he's a Hindustani classical musician. There was music and dance both, but I think I took to dancing because that came more naturally to me, and that was something that really interested me, and that's how my journey started. And even while in school, I used to perform a lot. In school, outside of school, I started traveling with my guru at a very, very young age, and traveled all across the world giving performances. So that was the kind of exposure that I had as a child. I started performing really young, at a very young age. That was the kind of exposure that I had. After school, I had to make a choice between studies, my academics, and dance. And I didn't have to think twice there because dance was something that I always wanted to do. And that's how I sort of... It was always a very natural journey for me. It has always been like that. It's not something that I've had to sort of mull over or anything. It's just worked out that way for me. I think I'm really, really very fortunate and blessed that I've had the opportunity, the privilege of interacting with such senior gurus, dancers, musicians, because of where I come from. And to be able to be so closely associated with all these artists and to interact with them, one gets to learn so much by just observing. So my training in dance has not happened just in the classroom, but also outside of class. I remember one of the most important, momentous times of my life was when I got the opportunity of performing on stage with Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra and Madhavi ji as a part of a program called Generations. I was in school and I got to travel with them and perform in Brazil and France. And it was a very, very special program, of course, to be able to perform with such stalwarts. So I got to learn a lot at that point. And for me, life has always been about learning and being inspired from all these things that keep happening around me. And that's how my journey has been. It's a very organic journey. Like I said, it's not something that I've had to make conscious decisions about, but it's sort of always paved its own way. And that's how I feel right now too, in my life as a dancer at the moment. I am open to things that come my way. I like to explore, I like to experiment. I absolutely love to be rooted in my traditional classical art form of Odissi.
AstroVed. We proudly deliver authentic Vedic solutions and remedy services. Become a member of AstroVed today. Witness a positive shift in your life.
வணக்கம் மேம், தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் ஃபார் யுவர் டைம். நான் உங்களை மீட் பண்ணதில் நாங்கள் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷப்படுறோம். ஸோ திஸ் விருந்திராணி அவார்ட்ஸ் நாங்கள் இதை உங்களை தேடி வந்து பார்த்து கொடுக்கணுன்றதுல ரொம்ப ஆசைப்பட்டிருந்தோம், வந்து பார்த்துட்டோம், ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்டட் டு ஆஸ்க் லைக் நீங்கள் வந்து நார்த் இந்தியாவில் இருந்து டெல்லியில் இருக்கிற ஒரு பெர்ஃபார்மர், லைக் ஒரு ஒடிசி டான்ஸர். ஸோ எங்களுக்கெலாம் லைக் சவுத் இந்தியா சைடில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒடிசி பெர்ஃபார்மர்ன்றப்போ ஒரு 2-3 பேர் ஃபியூ ஆர்டிஸ்ட் நம்மளுக்கு ஞாபகம் வரும்போது நீங்கள் மிஸ் அவுட் ஆக மாட்டீங்க. நீங்கள் வந்து ஒரு ரொம்ப ஃபேவரட்டான ஆர்டிஸ்ட். ஸோ லைக் நீங்கள் நிறைய இடத்துல பெர்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க லைக் ஆல் ஓவர் த குளோப். பட் இன் தட் வே வாட் இஸ் யுவர் ஃபேவரட் சிட்டி அண்ட் ஹவு கம் இட் இஸ் பீன் ஓப்பன்ட்?
It's a very difficult question and I don't have one single answer for that. But there's so many places where people just sort of, they're very open to your art form even if they don't understand your art form, and that can happen in some cities abroad as well. People are not exposed to our arts but they still appreciate our arts, and they're very open and curious to learn more about it. So that kind of a space is very, very nice to perform in. And there's so many places in India, small towns and cities. I feel like it's a really nice feeling to perform there because people don't come there looking at the name or what art form. They just come because they want to be immersed in arts. And that intention from the audience's point of view is very beautiful to explore as an artist. And but of course, having said that, it's always special to perform in cities like Chennai because there are people who really understand and appreciate connoisseurs of arts are there. So it's always very nice to perform in those kind of places as well.
Great, ma'am. Yes, as you said, we used to see cream people like artist encouraging person while in the Margli season and all. It will be completely cream kind of audience that will be cheering up kind of thing. So you work with great gurus like Madhavi Mudgal ma'am and great maestro Kelucharan Mohapatra sir. So these are all the people. So it is like blessed to be with those kind of gurus and all. So how about your experience about those legends?
I'm absolutely blessed to have Madhvi as my guru and to have that experience of interacting, performing, traveling with Guruji, Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra ji. I think it's, I don't know, I must have done something really good in my past lives to be able to experience all this in this life. And also all the other artists that I've had the exposure, to interact with, I feel truly blessed. And as I always say that learning doesn't happen only in classrooms. It's also what you observe around you. Everything around us teaches us so much. And then to have that, kind of interaction with these kind of senior artists, it really teaches you a lot. By just looking at them, by watching them, by seeing them interact with other people, how they work, like behind the scenes. When they're traveling, how they interact with the organizers, how they set up the stage, how the lights are done, costumes, everything. And Madhvi ji and of course Guru ji, Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra ji, they're all such perfectionists. They would go into every single detail of everything that is involved in an art, in a dance performance. So it's not just about getting on stage and dancing. There is so much behind it. And they're perfectionists in those aspects of dance as well. So all that I've got to learn from them. So I'm really hugely blessed.
I feel they are like truly loving that art because of the passion they are doing so perfection. That is why they are legends. We all people. Yeah. Yes. We just wanted have a suggestions from your end, ma'am. Like as a Lasya as a team, so we found like we could able to understand there is lot more artists are there right now comparing to it is like 40-50 years before. So a lot of younger people are learning and thousands of artists are there. But after Arangetram, most of the people are like stagnated. Maybe they don't have any idea like what is next. They feel it is like completed. It is in our field. It is like it's a start. But what will be the suggestions? So how to drive the people in that way as an organization?
tricky question because this is not something that you can force upon anyone. Art, especially. I mean, it's not that you say, okay, you give 5 years to your art form, and in return you will get this much or whatever. You'll get this much fame, or you'll get this award. It doesn't work like that. Arts is arts. You know, you have to step into the field only if you love it and you are absolutely passionate about it. And also, if you're not expecting returns, you may get returns in the process. That's a different matter. But you don't enter the field thinking, oh, let me become a dancer so that I can get this. I mean, I just feel that your intention has to be right. Why you're doing something is very important for me. People might do well, and they might have different intentions, and that's fine. That's whatever, each work, each to his own. But for me, I feel like your intent is really important when you start, when you sort of enter the field of arts. Your heart has to be in the right place, and you have to be honest towards your art. And like you said, Arangetram or Mancha Pravesham, Ranga Pravesh, what we have in Odissi also, is supposed to be the beginning for you. That's when you start, okay, now I've started that journey of performing on stage. So if someone feels that they've, that's it and that's all they wanted to do and they don't want to continue it, that's their choice. No one can say anything about it or whether it's right or wrong. Not at all, because everything is very subjective in the field of arts. What may be right for me may be wrong for someone else. So that doesn't matter. But in terms of incentives, I would just say that there are a lot more people right now, but then there is also so much more opportunity in that sense. And especially with social media and all, I guess, I don't know in the long run whether it's for the better or the worse. But as of now, there is social media out there and people have this platform to put out their art form. So I think we just have to try and maintain a balance, I think, because in the long run, we want to also make sure that there's no dilution of the purity of the form. And I don't mean I'm a stickler of, it has to be the way it was performed 50 years ago. Not at all. It has to evolve. But yeah, there are certain things that you feel that are required when you're doing that thing, right? Practicing that form. And it's nice, I think, if you can maintain that balance. It's all about that.
So what I understood is like the unconditional love with the art will make sure the things. And a quick question in the same question, like, as I said, the social media is right now. So because of this pandemic, it is right now booming in this art field also. So the people are keep doing reels and other art forms and YouTubing. And it is a lot more right now compared to before. But the challenges and the changes is like a constant thing. It will be keep on happening in every decade in a different matters. Yeah, throughout this, because your aunt is also a great Guruji and she would have also faced it and you would have also known something else. So what do you feel before 20 years before and right now, and what will be the future of this art, how it will be evolve or grow?
I mean, with time, things change, and Odissi as an art form is actually, in terms of the revival of the art form, it's fairly new in comparison to an art form like Bharatanatyam. Because only in the 1950s was when Odissi was revived again. Of course, it's an ancient art form, but then it was also declining, and it was revived in the 1950s by gurus and scholars. So in that sense, it's a fairly young art form in terms of its revival. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, like for someone like Madhavi ji, the challenge was to bring Odissi on the map, world map, and for people to, to make people realize that, there is this art form that exists called Odissi, and, to give exposure to the art form and right exposure, not to just, put it out there, but also how you present an art form is very important.
Yeah.
It can't be, that's why, with social media also, I mean, anyone can do anything, but the idea is not to just go out there and do anything, but to do it right is, again, a very problematic word, but do it with the right intent at least. And so Madhavi ji and all have, that generation of artists, of dancers, especially Odissi dancers I'm talking about right now, for them, the intention was to, let people know that there is an art form which is really beautiful called Odissi and, recognize it. because it was only in the 50s that Odissi was also given its name and everything. So, so that was a huge challenge. And today, if people can recognize us young dancers as Odissi dancers, so I think the credit goes to that generation of dancers. And so now what we face is a different kind of challenge. There are so many dancers. Are there enough opportunities and all? This is a sort of a constant debate that's been going on for years, and I'm sure it'll keep going on. But we just have to kind of make way. Everyone has to find their own path. And eventually, I think as an artist, I always say this, that as an artist, your journey is an individual journey, you know. What you learn, what you achieve, all this is fine. Popularity, fame, yeah, all this is all right, you know, in its place. Popularity, fame, awards and all, that's okay. That has importance, of course, and in one aspect, that's fine. But there is obviously something more, right? There's something beyond all these things. Why do we do it? Why do we go into our classrooms and dance for hours? Is because of something that the art gives us internally. And I think ultimately that is what it is. I mean, if you can be so madly in love with that art form and what you're doing, and if it can give you that kind of bliss, that is why ultimately you're dancing. You're not dancing for anything else, not for Instagram, not for social media, not for fame, not for awards, but for that anand that you feel inside.
So change is inevitable, but what we wanted to do, we're supposed to have in a steady mind. The mindset is so important for what. So yeah, coming to this awards, whenever we speak about awards or recognitions, it is happiness and there is a huge responsibility coming to us. This is how it is like. So yeah, it is very happy moment right now to sharing with you, like the great legend Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra sir's name award is presented to you. So that is so happy for us, and it is very proudful because he's a legend who is a pride of Odisha. So the first Padma Bhushan sir. So again, about this Vrindrani award, it is again the people constantly voted for you. Like, yeah, when it comes to Odissi, very few people, they are keep on. Yeah, I love this artist. So what do you feel about this Vrindrani awards and this recognitions, and what do you wanted to tell for this Rasikas?
See, also because of this time that we're in, suddenly we found last year and this year, everyone found themselves locked up in such a strange situation that's never happened to us. And at that time, I think, of course, everyone kind of took to social media as their, I don't know, it was almost a relationship with so many different people through that medium. And it was a way of reaching out, it was a way of connecting, sharing, which made you feel lighter and made you feel better in some ways. And in that process, I think this has happened. You know, people have voted and this award, Vrindrani award, has happened. So I feel really flattered and happy, and also how should I say this? It's very humbling, and I feel a little overwhelmed by it because ultimately, like I say, for me, it's I'm dancing because I love dancing. And if that love can reach out to people and other people can also get happiness and joy out of my process, I think that, I've arrived. In the sense, I'm not saying arrived in the sense, oh, I'm this, that, but the idea is to be able to share that joy with people. And if that is happening, even with few people, I think I'm blessed. I feel really lucky.
Yeah, even
thank you to everyone for doing that. That's really, I really, really, truly appreciate it.
Yeah, even we are so feeling blessed because of this. Because we started in a different initiative, but because of this recognition for all the things, it is a huge responsibility for us right now to meet all the people. But it is a happy moment for us because meeting all the artists, it is a wonderful blessing for us. Right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Rasikas.
Thank you.
தெருவில் வாரானோ தெருவில் வாரானோ என்னை சற்றே திரும்பி பாரானோ 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 நடராசன் தெருவில் வாரானோ ஓ ஒரு வெளியோடு திருப்புறத்தையும் உடனெறி செய்த நடனராசன் தெருவில் வாரானோ.
The Lasya and Astroved proudly presents Vrindrani Award to Arushi Mudgal ma'am.